I'm Aaron Porras, and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. Coming up in today's newscast, United States Vice President Mike Pence arrives in Israel. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas reportedly heads to the EU seeking Palestinian statehood. And a new initiative to teach Israelis to be more compassionate gets underway. Stay tuned for the latest news in Israel. United States Vice President Mike Pence has just arrived in Israel, and all eyes are now on the American leader after he was met with opposition, even protests in both Egypt and Jordan earlier this week. Though President Trump's Jerusalem announcement has indeed already shadowed much of Pence's trip, Israeli leaders waited anxiously to see what he'd say at his Knesset address today. TV's Natasha Kirchuk is in Jerusalem now for Pence's speech, and take it away, Natasha.
Where American Vice President Mike Pence is giving his so-called historic speech, but with Palestinians refusing to meet him and Arab Knesset members even boycotting his visit, the true question is, what is American involvement in the peace process really going to look like?
הוא בן אדם לא דמוקרט ביסוד שלו, גם נגד נשים, נגד חוק הפלה, גם נגד בית המשפט העליון, גם בארצות הברית עצמה. ופה אצלנו, כשהוא בא אחרי ההצהרה של טראמפ, אז בוודאי אנחנו רוצים לומר לכל העולם, לרבות לאזרחי ארצות הברית, שהסיעה השישית בגודלה בכנסת אומרת לא לפנס, לא לטראמפ, כן לשלום, כן לקירוב בין שני העמים. זהו המסר שלנו.
מה היית רוצה לשמוע ממנו היום?
לא רוצה לשמוע אותו.
Despite even a boycott within their own government, lawmakers on the other side are echoing Prime Minister Netanyahu's words and say there's zero alternative to a U.S.-led peace process.
The United States was, is, and will remain the centerpiece in, besides the Arabs and the Israelis, in creating peace in the Middle East. That remains because of their significant strategic value. It's a shame that the Palestinians never lose an opportunity to miss an opportunity, and they're doing it this time again. But I think that the recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital is a huge step towards peace, because never would we have achieved peace without recognizing that element.
Though greeted with mostly open arms and excitement today in Israel, Pence's Middle East trip has been an uphill battle. Both Jordan and Egypt demanded the vice president reconsider unwinding Trump's controversial Jerusalem decision. Pence replied by saying they'd just have to agree to disagree. So you believe that there is a future to a peace process between the Israelis and Palestinians with the current American government?
Yeah, I think everybody in his right mind understands that the two-state solution is the only real, tangible solution on the table, and it takes time to get there. And we've been waiting for quite a bit, for quite many years now. And I know that the president's team is working really hard, Jason Greenblatt and Kushner and others, on putting the right paper and making sure it's the right paper on the right time.
Pence's promise of American solidarity with Israel is certainly a welcome message here in the Knesset. But as the vice president points out, true peace can only come when both sides agree to speak.
We strongly urge the Palestinian leadership to return to the table. Peace can only come through dialogue. Now, we recognize that peace will require compromise, but you can be confident in this. The United States of America will never compromise the safety and security of the State of Israel. Any peace agreement must guarantee Israel's ability to defend itself by itself.
In addition to reaffirming the United States' commitment to Israel's safety and security, United States Vice President Mike Pence also took time at the Knesset podium today to discuss a whole host of other issues. Now we go back now to Jerusalem with TV's Natasha Kirchuk for more on how the Knesset is reacting to Pence's speech.
U.S. Vice President Mike Pence just wrapped up his speech here in the Knesset, but the entire affair started out with a protest from several Arab Knesset members. Here's a look.
תשמע טוב, לא יעזור. ירושלים שלנו, תמיד תהיה שלנו, תמיד תישאר שלנו. במקרה הטוב אולי נעיף אתכם לעיסאוויה, ניתן לכם לקושש קצת עשבים.
And here's a response from Knesset member Ahmed Tibi.
We made a political protest. We, the third faction in the Knesset, said and sent a message to Vice President Pence and the international community and to President Trump that we reject his policy. He is a very extreme vice president. We want Israeli-Palestinian peace based on two-state solution and East Jerusalem as a capital. This is the photo that we raised in the Knesset and was taken brutally from us by the guards.
Knesset members from across the right wing were enraged by the protests by Arab Knesset members during the vice president's speech.
זחאלקה, קפל את השלט, הוא יישאר בגדר פנטזיה. חי בסרט זה. לקח פטריית הזיה. Sorry, yes.
We're here with Knesset member Oren Chazan. What is your reaction to what took place in the beginning of the vice president's speech here in the Knesset today?
What can you expect from those that don't respect the place that work at, live from, eat from, and give them everything? Those people during the year, they're doing everything to destroy our state, to destroy our country. They don't respect the Knesset. Today, they prove us that they don't know Israel, they don't believe in the state of Israel, and actually they took themselves out of the equation and they are not citizens of Israel anymore. So what we'll have to do, not just to get them out from the Knesset, is to kick them out to Syria or Iran or maybe somewhere else.
But despite the controversy, many Knesset members were happy with the outcome of the U.S. Vice President's speech.
Standing with the state of Israel, standing with a decision to not only recognize Jerusalem as our capital, but to move the American embassy to our capital, standing with us forthright against the Iran nuclear deal and against Iran terror throughout the entire Middle East. An extraordinary speech, very, very uplifting.
He was crystal clear with saying that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. He went to the ancient history of our land, of the Jewish people, of Christianity, and he actually put the facts on the table.
Meanwhile, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has addressed the European Union today at the same time that Vice President Pence delivered his speech to the Israeli Knesset. Apparently, truly seeming to cut out the United States, Abbas is asking the entire EU to officially recognize the state of Palestine. Many foreign leaders are skeptical if the timing is really right to recognize the Palestinian state, but even if it doesn't win statehood status, Abbas's speech is likely to signal the new Palestinian strategy moving forward, now that they've refused to negotiate with the U.S. at all on the matter. Most of the Arab and Muslim world has echoed similar sentiments in the wake of Trump's Jerusalem decision, as well as America's slashing of over half its foreign aid to the UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency. The PLO has responded by threatening to renounce its recognition of Israel completely. With both sides pushing harder and harder into their corners, the ultimate fate of the two-state solution is more unclear than ever, which means even if the EU does decide to intercede, it may simply be too little too late. Israel's embassy in Amman is set to reopen after nearly half a year of frozen relations, which means diplomacy with Jordan is finally getting back to normal. One of the biggest hurdles in clearing things up, though, was whether or not Israel would prosecute the embassy guard who killed 2 Jordanians during an attempted terror attack last summer. ILTV's Brett Allen Smith is here in the studio with the latest developments on this. Brett?
Thank you, Aaron. Well, originally, Jordan was extremely adamant that Israel pursue a total investigation, legal action, everything against this guard. They've now kind of backed away from that, and they're saying that although they originally said that they wanted legal action, Israeli officials speaking under anonymity have now said that there will be no investigation, no litigation at all. They're saying, quote, no way will it happen.
All right, well, so how did Jordan take it? Because I bet not lightly.
Well, actually, there's been no official comments so far, but when the official word came in about the rebuilding of ties and the reopening of the embassy yesterday, that kind of was an interesting hint about what was going to happen, because so that statement went, Jordan said Israel will pursue litigation as we asked. Right. Israel's response was, we will say if we decide when we will do it. And they didn't comment on that now. They're not going to comment on it then. They're probably not now.
It's safe to assume it's probably not going to happen.
Probably not. I think people are happy enough that the bridge is kind of rebuilt by now, as you'll see now in the rest of the report. All right. Israel has offered an official apology to the victims' families, along with a reported $5 million cash payment in order to rebuild ties with Jordan. Diplomacy with its neighbor is of critical importance to both nations. Jordan and Israel cooperate on everything from security to tourism to restoring the Dead Sea, making these last 6 months a long and anxious chapter. Jordan had previously demanded Israel pursue legal action against the embassy guard at the center of the incident last summer. That guard allegedly shot and killed a Jordanian man who had tried to stab him with a screwdriver, accidentally killing an innocent Jordanian citizen in the crossfire. That episode sparked a tense 24-hour standoff, followed by the immediate closure of Israel's embassy until Israel agreed to prosecute the guard, but apparently Jordan has backed off this point. Israeli officials have confirmed that the embassy guard will definitely not face charges for the killings. Netanyahu hailed the man as a hero upon his safe return from Jordan last summer. At the time, Jordanian officials were outraged over the warm public embrace of a man who'd allegedly killed an innocent civilian, even if it was by accident. But clearly time, and money perhaps, has helped calm the waters.
Dozens of women have just marched for gender equality all over the United States for the annual Women's March. The first march was held last year to protest the election of current United States President Donald Trump. But this year, Palestinian groups have actually decided to boycott the march in LA because of its featured speaker, actress Scarlett Johansson. The Palestinian American Women's Association claims that Johansson's, quote, unapologetic support of illegal settlements in the West Bank contradict the march's message. Several other leading Palestinian groups seem to agree, boycotting the march because of Johansson's selection as a key event speaker. Now, this all stems from the celeb's former position as a spokeswoman for SodaStream, whose main factory used to be located in the West Bank, though it has since relocated to Israel's southern Negev. Ironically, though, Johansson split from the SodaStream company quite some time ago, and the current factory actually employs nearly 500 Arab Bedouin. So it's unclear why these Palestinian groups still felt the need to boycott. For the large part, women everywhere are applauding Johansson's courageous participation in the march. On stage, she called out current Oscar frontrunner James Franco, who wore a, quote, Time's Up pin as he took the Best Actor award at Golden Globes, while facing numerous allegations of his own sexual misconduct. Ryanair Airlines is under fire now for adding a controversial new baggage fee to checked luggage. It would be one thing if they were simply upping the charges, but apparently they're only adding the fee on flights into and out of Israel. Everyone else, free checked luggage for every other flight. Ryanair says it's now charging €50 for each bag that needs to be checked in the hold, but only on Israeli flights due to a special security procedure with Israel. The problem is the Israel Airports Authority says they haven't made a single change to their security protocol in the week this new change went into effect. And the most troubling of all, the airline seems to have added the charges without telling passengers. The first batch of Israelis apparently showed up for their flights and were shocked to discover that they were suddenly required to pay an extra €50 to check their luggage. When they initially booked the flight, it was supposed to come free of charge. Ryanair is an Irish airline frequented by Israeli passengers due to its low-cost flights into and out of the country. But both the fee and the gesture are likely to push Israelis away from making Ryanair their airline of choice. On a BDS-related note, on top of countries and companies adopting anti-Israel practices, the boycott of Israeli companies, especially those located in the West Bank, has also taken its toll. Well, at least one Israeli company is fighting back, and here with me in the studio now is the founder of Lev Haolam, attorney Nati Rom. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you. Okay, so tell me a little bit about saving the world here.
So Lev Haolam organization started to stand up and to fight against the BDS movements, not to leave the international arena for them only. And what we did, it's a grassroots movement from Lev Haolam, from the heart of the world. People all over the world receive these beautiful boxes that we have here in front of me. And they are buying organic honey, organic olive oil, cosmetic, Judaica, and much more other things directly from the pioneers in Judea and Samaria. So they are trying to boycott, and those people support and buy more and more products from Judea and Samaria.
So you're creating, you could say a partnership between the, Judea, Samaria, West Bank products and consumers who purchase them?
Exactly. We have many, many Jews and non-Jews around the world who want to be connected, who want to be, as you just said, partners with the pioneers, with the small producers who have suffering for the BDS.
So how did Lev Haolam start? How did you, come to think of doing this?
My wife and I, we saw people who are hardworking people, do beautiful products, organic products with a lot of love, and they have a problem to market them and to sell them as every normal business have, and especially because of the BDS. So we started to buy products and to send it all over the world and to sell it. And we have more and more people who join us.
So you started by just buying West Bank products, Judea and Samaria products, and then packaging them and then selling those packages.
Exactly. We have a lot of groups of people who are interested to see those producers. They are coming, they come to our home.
So, okay. So I guess my next question for you is, how, if I want a box like this, where do I go to find one?
So basically you go to our website, Leva Halam, and you join this partnership. It's a subscriptions, and you receive it every month to your doorstep, include everything with beautiful products, and also with a newsletter about who are the producers, where they live, what is the historical connection. And it's not only, it's something very, very ideological. You are a partner with the pioneers, so you help to fight the BDS, and also you receive the beautiful fruits of the Holy Land.
So, okay, final question. Just, what's been the success, the reaction of Leva Olam since you've started?
Today we have thousands of subscriptions. We have in 43 different countries people who are supporters. It's also a grassroots movement. We have many, many people who are activists for pro-Israel. And we have more and more people who are joining us every second.
All right, Natirom from Leva Olam, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
As heartbreaking as it is, animal abuse, even of household pets, is a widespread problem in Israeli society. Thankfully, there are all kinds of amazing organizations working to end animal abuse here in the Holy Land, and one group in particular has a very unique program teaching animal compassion to kids at an early age.
This special 12-session program is already being taught to hundreds of kids between 4th and 6th grade. Though animal abuse is a problem in nearly every sector of Israeli society, this particular program operates in Arab Israeli schools. It applies special cultural understandings to help Arabic kids understand that harming pets or farm animals in any way is completely wrong, by teaching them how to expand their, quote, circles of compassion. Teachers immediately saw how quickly and naturally kids connected with animals, but sometimes certain attitudes taught at home curbed their ability to properly empathize with the creatures or even understand that an animal can suffer the same way humans can. But the 40-hour program completely turned kids around by the end, even children who admitted that they'd harmed animals in the past without a second thought. Incredibly, the program had a pretty amazing side effect as well. School principals actually witnessed an overall decrease in violent tendencies from students who participated in this program. A less violent society fueled by compassion sounds like what we should all be striving for, if you ask me.
Israeli agriculture technology has long been shipped out to developing nations, teaching millions how to farm and cultivate areas that are often otherwise barren. Now, growing is one thing, but then what do all the local farmers do if they can't find a buyer? Well, Israeli company Farmster may have just solved that problem as well. And joining me now in the studio with more is Farmster's founder and CEO, Dr. Adam Abramson. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell me about Farmster and how it works and what it does.
Okay, so agriculture in emerging markets like Africa and Asia is very different. You have about 60% of the population is a farmer.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2% here. Most people are farming, and most of them are farming on small farms. And on top of that, they don't have smartphones like we do. They have simple phones, the ones that we used to have when mobile phones first came out. So the question is, how do they actually reach a buyer? How do they know who's going to buy that?
Yeah, they get connected with somebody if they're not, online, you could say.
Right. They could just push a button, maybe get online and post what they're going to harvest, and somebody could find it. But they don't have LinkedIn. They don't have Facebook.
Sure. So what have you provided? You provided, like a dumb phone, you could call it, a dumb phone app?
Exactly. It's a dumb phone. It's an SMS chatbot. So it actually works on SMS. They can text in what they're going to harvest. Wow. And then the buyers, who most of them have the internet, can actually download the app and then see what's available. And it's much more efficient that way. On average, the small farmer will lose 40% of his harvest before he reaches a buyer because lack of information. It rots. Wow. He doesn't find a buyer. He dumps it on the farm.
All right. Well, so I mean, is this available everywhere, or?
So we're live in Tanzania. Cool. You can download the app from anywhere. You can see produce from Tanzania on the app. And so we're just launching there. We're focusing now on one location, and looking to grow. So.
Well, it's an incredible idea, and from what I've learned and from talking to you earlier, it sounds like it's really becoming a success. And I wish you more successes in the future. Thank you so much for coming in from Farmster. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now often called the single greatest discovery of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls are filled with incredible mysteries about ancient Judaism. And now, Israeli experts have just brought an incredible new secret to the surface by cracking an ancient 2,000-year-old code written into the second-to-last unpublished Dead Sea Scroll.
As if deciphering an ancient biblical code weren't tough enough, some of the pieces of this particular scroll are mere centimeters large, making this a truly remarkable accomplishment. The code allowed research teams at Haifa University to decipher more unpublished scroll fragments, and the findings are truly shocking. Apparently, this particular scroll was written by the Yachad sect, a fanatical group of outsiders that lived like hermits in ancient times. That's why they wrote much of their manuscripts in code, so as to protect themselves from persecution. But the biggest difference from mainstream communities was their use of a never-before-known calendar made up of 364 days, as opposed to the lunar calendar used in Judaism until today. This different calendar alone might have actually been a major point of contention between the sects. Researchers say that this 364-day calendar is a, quote, perfect mathematical calendar because it's divisible by both 4 and 7, which means that holidays, festivals, and special occasions always fall on the same numerical day of the year. This incredible new calendar also marked the seasons differently, including 2 special occasions not even mentioned in the Bible, the festivals of new wine and new oil. This is an incredible discovery. Who knows what other secrets are still hiding in the ancient Dead Sea Scrolls?
Ice cream lovers around the world are about to be very pleasantly surprised, as am I, to say the least, because an Israeli startup just developed a capsule that will change most children and honestly most adults' lives. TV's Emmanuel Kadosh has more details on this. Emmanuel?
Thanks, Aaron. Like you said, ice cream lovers are about to have their lives turned upside down. No more making a quick ice cream run down the street, waiting in line, or flavors running out, because Solo Gelato capsules are here to change your world. The Israeli startup is enabling people to make instant and fresh ice cream on their own in the comfort of their own home, and it really just doesn't get much better than that, but I have more details in my report.
All right.
What would you say if I told you that today making ice cream is just as easy as making yourself a cup of coffee? Well, believe it or not, now it is. Solo Gelato, an Israeli startup company, has just created 24 different flavored ice cream capsules that allow people to make instant ice cream without even leaving their house. How does it work? Think of it like a coffee machine. You have your ice cream capsules, which are a bit larger than coffee capsules, and each make a single portion of ice cream. Then you have your machine, which also looks like a basic Nespresso coffee maker. CEO and founder of Solo Gelato says that instant ice cream system is, quote, like a coffee machine with a technology that freezes and expels air into the capsules in just 60 seconds. Now, included in the 24 different flavors are also sugar-free, organic, alcoholic, and dietary options, making this product truly undeniable to anyone. There are also 2 different types of capsules, durable ones which don't need refrigeration and have a shelf life of about 9 months. And then we have the fresh ones, which need to be refrigerated and will keep for around a month and a half. All you got to do is pick your flavor, get the machine ready, and within 60 seconds, you got yourself instant ice cream from the comfort of your own home. Tell me, does it get any better than that? I think not.
And now for our Hebrew word of the day. Of all of the incredible exports that Israel sends worldwide, maybe the most important is just caring. So today's word is chemla, meaning compassion. Israelis are always showing their chemla too. We teach to have chemla for each other, for the world, for the environment, and pretty much everything else through the concept of tikkun olam, or global repair. But if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Just look to all the amazing successes that have sprouted from a point of chemla. So remember, it's easy to be careless, but it's more worthwhile to have chemla. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight should be partly cloudy and windy with a chance of rain and a low of about 56 or 13 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow is also expected to be partly cloudy, but with a significant drop in temperatures to a high of 61 or 16 degrees Celsius. All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.42 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Israel English News and on Twitter at ILTV News. I'm Aaron Porras, and thank you for watching.